Secretary General, I have the honor to present Mr. Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri, Ambassador Designate of the Republic of Kenya to the Caribbean community.
Ambassador, it's with great pleasure that I accept your letter of credence.
It is my honor to present today, Excellency, the first time for Kenya, my credentials as plenipotentiary representative of the Republic of Kenya to the Caribbean community. Kenya is committed to an Africa that is focused on South-South cooperation, as most of free Africa today, especially the sub-Saharan region, is forged on the anvil of African solidarity and Pan-Africanism. Within the African Union, the African diaspora, which consists of peoples of African origin living outside the continent, irrespective of citizenship and nationality, are considered the sixth region of Africa. It is against this background, Your Excellency, that in August 2019, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta visited the Caribbean region with the intention of strengthening the links between CARICOM, Africa, and particularly Kenya. Excellency, you were present when the President visited and held meetings with the leaders of the CARICOM. The visit was made with the objective of the need for exchanging views on both regions' common destiny, especially in an increasingly global world characterized by narrow nationalisms, growing East-West trade wars, the European crisis, and the evident marginalization of the development agenda, which is most critical to our developing countries, the Caribbean included. Excellency, to confront these challenges, Kenya believes in the importance of the two regions speaking in one voice, strengthening institutional relationships and crafting trade, investment, tourism, and culture cooperation between CARICOM and Africa through a more robust organization of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific states post-Cotonou framework, as well as a new intra-regional free trade agreement modeled along the African continental free trade area and within appropriate WTO rules. Excellency, Kenya recognizes the global challenges that continuously face developing countries and is prepared to play a leading role to overcome them, especially in its current role as a member of the UN Security Council and president in office of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States. We do thank the CARICOM countries for making this possible, especially in our bid to get the UN Security Council role. Excellency, Kenya intends to propose very soon the formation of our coalition for negotiations in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and promote South-South cooperation on mitigating impacts of climate change, of which your region is most affected. It is for this reason that Kenya, as host to the only UN office in the developing world, provided a global forum for contributing to and advancing a global conversation on the negative and positive impacts of the blue economy, which would in turn present strategic alternatives that could enable developing countries attain their sustainable development goals. We will continue along this path, Your Excellency. Excellency, as you very well know, Kenya was the first, when the President visited this region, to propose to host the first ever CARICOM summit in Nairobi, which was to be held in June 2020, but was never held, of course, because of the challenges of the COVID pandemic. A training program was also envisaged, Your Excellency, for CARICOM diplomats, again in Nairobi, in May 2020. This again did not happen. We also offered free space to CARICOM countries to set up office and agreed to pay rent for 2 years so that the CARICOM region and countries, individual countries, can have access to the UN office in Nairobi and be prepared to join in the global issue of climate and climate change. We were also the lead initiator of 2 draft memoranda of understanding between Africa and CARICOM, and Kenya and CARICOM. And more recently, we partnered with South Africa and WHO to unlock immediate access for CARICOM countries to access COVID-19 materials through the African Medical Supplies Platform. This is current, Your Excellency, it's ongoing. Your Excellency, while some of these engagements have not materialized due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, I do take immense pride in today's historic event and look forward to a fruitful working relationship between Kenya and CARICOM. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri, Plenipotentiary Representative of the Republic of Kenya to the Caribbean Community, Minister Consular and First Secretary and other staff of the Embassy of the Republic of Kenya, Ambassador Colin Grandison, Assistant Secretary General, Foreign and Community Relations, and other members of staff of the CARICOM Secretariat. Excellency, it is with the greatest pleasure that I welcome the presentation of your credentials, accrediting you as the first plenipotentiary representative of the Republic of Kenya to the Caribbean Community. Today's historic ceremony marks another chapter in the community's growing familial relations with Kenya. These relations are concrete and progressive, and our countries embrace them fully. 2019 was a milestone year in our relations with the visits to Jamaica and Barbados by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of Kenya, and the reciprocal visit to Kenya by the Honorable Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados. During the President's visit to Barbados, foreign ministers of Kenya and CARICOM foreign ministers met and had fruitful discussions. I should also mention the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Shastney, who at the time was the chairman of CARICOM's Heads of Government Conference, was also in Barbados and had bilaterals with President. One of the positive outcomes of the visit and those discussions is the provision by Kenya of office space in Nairobi to accommodate CARICOM representation. Prime Minister Mottley accepted the generous offer during her visit, and arrangements are being finalized so that the office could be occupied in the near future. I look forward to signing the tenancy agreement in the coming weeks. To further strengthen the bonds between us, our member states are actively considering the draft Memorandum of Understanding for the establishment of a consultation and cooperation mechanism between CARICOM and Kenya. The community has recognized that there is much scope for stronger collaboration and cooperation between us, particularly in the areas of trade and investment, people-to-people exchanges, and sustainable development. Kenya is also at the forefront of promoting relations between CARICOM and Africa, as demonstrated by the initiative to host a summit between our 2 regions. Indeed, the Caribbean is recognized as a constituent part of the 6th region of the African Union. Plans for the summit were put on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but it is still very much an engagement that we aspire to stage as soon as possible. CARICOM heads of government have also agreed to seek collaboration with the AU to co-sponsor a proposed summit with European heads of government on the issue of reparations. This issue is a major undertaking of the Caribbean community. Heads of government have established a CARICOM Reparations Commission in our efforts to seek reparatory justice from European countries for slavery and native genocide. Excellency, our ceremony today is taking place at a time of great global challenges. The prolonged, multifaceted health and economic crisis resulting from the coronavirus has caused massive disruption and hardship in most aspects of our lives. The pandemic has resulted in our region suffering an average economic contraction in 2020 of 12.8%. This is largely due to the fact that several member states are predominantly tourism-dependent, export-oriented small economies. The pandemic disrupted the travel and tourism industries, leading to unemployment and significantly reduced revenues. The matter of availability and equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines is therefore of the utmost importance for CARICOM countries. In this connection, CARICOM appreciates the offer of the African Union to participate in the African Medical Supplies Platform, which would give us access to vaccines at affordable prices. All member states are putting in place the arrangements to benefit from this gesture of African-Caribbean solidarity. CARICOM member states are also participating in the World Health Organization COVAX facility, which will provide 20% of our vaccine needs. However, beyond these two facilities, the community is deeply concerned at the inequitable access to vaccines by developing countries. Given the high potential for rapid transmissibility of the virus, all countries are vulnerable and should work together. CARICOM has called on the World Health Organization to convene a global summit to address the inequity in vaccine access and distribution. According to the WHO, rich countries, while comprising only 16% of the world's population, have already purchased 60% of available vaccine supplies. We would welcome the support of partners like Kenya in our call for the global summit. CARICOM looks forward to working together with Kenya towards advancing our common interests at the bilateral, regional, and global levels. This can be pursued through shared membership of groupings such as the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, the Commonwealth, and the United Nations. Kenya is host to the United Nations office in Nairobi, one of 4 major UN office sites, and is the UN's headquarters in Africa. Kenya is host to the United Nations office in Nairobi, one of 4 UN office sites, and is a major UN office in Africa. The office also hosts the global headquarters for the United Nations Human Settlements Program, UN Habitat, and the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. UNEP is playing an important role in the battle against climate change, a phenomenon which possesses an existential threat to our region. The CARICOM Representation Office in Nairobi, thanks to the generosity of President Kenyatta, would greatly facilitate our member states' ability to actively participate in discussions at these important UN agencies. CARICOM member states are among the smallest emitters of greenhouse gases, but among the most adversely affected by climate change. This has manifested itself, for example, through more frequent storms which strike our region with greater ferocity. We look forward to Kenya's continuing support in advocating for the concerns of small island and low-lying coastal states, SIDS, in international fora. Ambassador Muchiri, there is no doubting the potential of this new relationship for both Kenya and the Caribbean community. I wish you a most successful tenure and assure you of my support and that of the staff of the Secretariat as we work together to build strong and lasting ties between CARICOM and the Republic of Kenya. I thank you.